we have already presented two of the components of the business model, the value proposition and the value architecture. And in this video, we will explore the third component, that is the profit equation. This is the financial part of the business model, so we'll do some finance here, but as you will see, it's really basic finance. However, it is important to take this financial part into account when we consider business model innovation. As mentioned before, the profit equation reads the two previous components with financial lenses, so it is just a financial way of looking at the value proposition and the value architecture. Let's start with a value proposition. If a company has a very attractive value proposition, how will this translate into financial terms? Think about it for a minute. It is in the P&L. It is the first line of the profit and loss statement, the revenue. So the value proposition explains the revenue, the sales of the firm. What about the value architecture? Remember, this part of the business model describes the how, that is, the way the company is organized to deliver the value proposition in due time to the customer. How does this translate into financial terms? Well, the value architecture explains both the cost structure and the capital employed. Let me now detail those two items. Costs include all the costs incurred by the company, such as salaries, invoices paid for raw materials, production, energy, transportation, and so on. But the value architecture doesn't only imply costs. To run the company, you also need machines, trucks, computers, inventories. All this together is called the capital employed. Capital employed recovers several items that you can read in the balance sheet of the company. First, factories, machines, trucks. Those are called fixed assets. But there is more than just fixed assets in capital employed. In order to run your company, you also need inventories, and your clients might not pay you right away. Those are accounts receivable. On the other hand, you in turn might not pay your suppliers right away, so this will lower the amount of money you need to run your company. Accounts payable lower the overall amount of money you need to run your company. Inventories, accounts receivable minus accounts payable are called working capital requirements. And fixed assets plus working capital requirement make up for capital employed. For example, if a company decides to close a factory and to outsource manufacturing, that is, to have its products manufactured by another company, then the level of capital employed will be lower. Indeed, the factory, with all its machinery, represents a high level of capital employed. So the value architecture explains the cost structure and the level of capital employed, and the value proposition defines the revenue. The overall message of the business model is that in order to create a profit, value proposition and value architecture need to be aligned. In our next video, we will explain this in details and give some examples.